I'm Stacy Holmes, and this is Glordinary, a few moments where we celebrate God's glory and champion the ordinary. I'm glad you're here. It's that time of year, time for tablescapes. Do you know what a tablescape is? Think of it like a landscape on your dining table. You know, like a centerpiece exploded into a Pinterest-worthy prize. I'm talking the whole dinner service here, folks. All the little forks and spoons that most of us have no idea what they're for. The chargers, the saucers, the linens, the place cards, the works. And the whole display is pulled together into a cohesive theme, a landscape for the table. I give thee the tablescape. And then there's me. I don't even own a tablecloth, let alone the capacity to create a tablescape. I'd like to issue a formal apology to anyone who has ever dined at my home without the presence of a tablescape, or a tablecloth, or cloth napkins, or gravy. We don't eat gravy, sorry. It's not you, it's me. I'm not a tablescape kind of girl. I'm a let's linger over a cup of coffee and split a piece of pie kind of girl. Actually, I'm going to need my own piece of pie. Mama doesn't share desserts. Yet, I can certainly appreciate a tablescape. There's just something about a host's preparation, taking their time thinking of me, showcasing their full extent of their care long before the guest's arrival. And whether you're preparing to host a Thanksgiving table tomorrow or listening to this months later, there's a place setting reserved for you. In our series, it's a Psalm 23 kind of day. Now, at this point in our wanderings, the sheep are approaching their summer range, called a tableland. These are the high plateaus. We called them mesas in geography class. Do you remember? Mesa is a Spanish word meaning table. And this is likely what David is referring to in verse 5 when he writes, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." The table we're describing, as written here in Psalm 23, is the high, sought-after plateau of that summer range, their home away from home, so to speak. The tablelands. Now, long before a little lamb ever crosses one blade of grass into the tableland, the shepherd thoroughly prepared for her arrival. He set the table for his beloved lamb and her fluffy friends, too. You see, an attentive shepherd will travel in the spring to these tablelands to survey them. He'll take stock of what preparations need made and which route is best for their early summer trek. Months before the sheep arrive, he makes an additional trip or two to fully prepare the land. He'll deliberately drop salt piles and other minerals, spreading them over the tablelands for the future benefit of his flock. It's totally Hansel and Gretel style here. He drops little salt cubes and mineral pellets to mark the way with nutrient-rich land. Another shep prep job is to scan the water sources. Perhaps excess grasses or weeds are blocking the water flow, or maybe Old Man Winters caused a water bank to erode. The shepherd will skim the water holes, springs, or mountain streams, careful to remove excess debris and gunk. And yes, gunk is the scientific term, probably. He also searches out the most gentle area for bedding down. He examines the ground and grasses to determine where the flock can graze for longer periods of time, the places to linger versus the spots to nibble a quick appetizer. He's creating a tablescape, y'all. David says it this way, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." And this process is necessary because despite the care and preparation, weeds also grow amidst beautiful alpine flowers and grasses. Yes, even a tiny nibble of particular flowery weeds could paralyze a lamb, causing death shortly thereafter. Truly, these are the, quote, presence of my enemies. But it's not just weeds. The shepherd's also on the lookout for signs of predator activity. Cougars, wolves, coyotes, even bear will watch and wait from the ridgeline, plotting their moment to attack and startle the sheep into a stampede. Most assuredly, one or more of the lambs becomes easy pickings. Ugh, I hate that. Yes, it wouldn't be honest to say there aren't enemies at the table, in the tablelands. despite all the shepherd's preparations. Oh, they're present. Verse 5 tells us so. Stray weeds, sudden attacks, even storms may sweep in. And despite his efforts, there will still be difficulties, still be hard days ahead. As shepherd and pastor Philip Keller reminds us, quote, Christ still assures that we shall have some gladness with our sadness, some delightful days as well as dark days, some sunshine as well as shadow. Oh, but the shepherd. You see, my friend, this isn't the first or the last time that he's prepared a table. You might recall the story of the lost son in Luke 15, and here we meet two sons. One is wildly responsible and loyal, and one wildly wrecked by his own life choices. And as the younger one returns home in shame and humiliation, the father runs toward his son. He lavishes his love and forgiveness onto the beloved son, kills the fattened calf. It's time to celebrate. My son has come home. The fathers prepared a table. Perhaps you remember the older son quickly exiting stage left from this dramatic affair. He wants nothing to do with that little punk or his father's failure to acknowledge his dependable good choices. I get that, bro. Yet the father knows a thing or two about how to set a table. And perhaps what I love most in this story is this. The father goes to both sons, the wildly responsible but hurting, and the wildly reckless but humbled. He goes looking for his oldest son, pulls him aside, and invites him to the table. He's set a place for him, every part of him, all his good and responsible choices, yes, but also all his hurting, bitter, resentful, and still in process ones too. Because the fathers prepared a table, despite the enemy still at work within the son's heart and mind. And just like the father, our shepherd knows a thing or two about preparing a table in the presence of our enemies. Even when the enemies sit across the table, the courtroom, the classroom, the breakroom, the living room. Even when the enemies sit within us, our own choices, our own habits, our own sin, our own worst enemies. Because the shepherd truly does prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. So, my friend, whatever you're facing today, tomorrow, next Tuesday, or 10 years from now, the Good Shepherd's already walked the road. He's gone before you, preparing the way, scanning for weeds, skimming off debris, and protecting from predators. The Good Shepherd knows the dangers ahead because he's already been there again and again, preparing the tablelands for you. He's set a place for you and me. He thought of everything it'd take to prepare the table. All you need to do is come. Thanks be to God for a seat at the table, even in the presence of our enemies. Remember, you're not alone in this. I'm praying for you, friend. Have a glordinary day.